done in his heart, that I left from that place saying, I am never going to doubt again whether or not God can use some silly, stupid booklet that I'm talking about. I'm never going to doubt again that God can actually move in someone's life. And so I've seen it done wrong, I've been part of it, and I've seen it where God moves. And the difference is nothing from my perspective. The only difference is whether or not God comes through. And sometimes I'm going to share my faith and talk to someone about God, and sometimes it's going to fall flat. And sometimes I'm going to talk about God, and it's going to rise up and blossom and flourish. And I don't ever know. So, let's talk about how you can do it right. Here are a couple things. Number one, I want to ask you, before you ever talk about your faith, answer this question for yourself. What have I received from God? And I want you to make a list of everything that God has done for you. What have I received from God? My time, my talents, my wealth, my ability to care for people, the way I talk, my past, my pains, the way I was raised. Everything in your life can go on this list. And you can say, God has brought this element into my life. What have I received from Him? Maybe you have a physical ailment. That's something that you don't have to say, God, why did you give me this? That's something you can receive and say, God, I have this. How can I use this? I've received this thing. I didn't want it originally, but I believe that there's power when you connect with my weakness. So God, what is going on here? How do you want to use this? Answer this question. What have I received from God? Not the least of which is you have received forgiveness. Look on the back side of your note sheet here. There's the verse, 2 Corinthians 5:21, and it says this. God made Him, Jesus, Him who knew no sin, who had no sin, to be sin for us, so that in Him we might become the righteousness of God. Have you received His righteousness into your life? Has there been a moment in your life where you said, God, everything I've got fails, and what I need is what you have. God, I'm sorry for the things that I've done. Would you cleanse me and forgive me? Would you fill me with the life of Jesus and let Him live through me? Has there ever been a moment like that for you? If not, make it today. Just say, God, today's the day I'm going to receive this from you. Today's the day I'm going to receive forgiveness from you. Because whatever you believe in, whatever kind of ideas you have about God, whatever faith you have in God, you can share that all day long, but it's not going to really matter for you unless God also works in you. So start there. Have I received it? What have I received? Then, once you understand what God has given you, here's your step one. Step one, share your stuff. Share your stuff. It's easy to share stuff with people. You don't have to jump right into telling people why Jesus is Lord and why the Bible is true. You can just share your stuff with someone. Look at Philemon. At the end of Philemon, Paul writes this. He says to Philemon, so if you consider me a partner, welcome Onesimus. Welcome him as you would welcome me. If he's done you any wrong or owes you anything, charge it to me. I, Paul, am writing this with my own hand. I will pay it back. Not to mention that you owe me your very self. I do wish, brother, that I may have some benefit from you in the Lord. Refresh my heart in Christ. Confident of your obedience, I write to you, knowing that you will do even more than I ask. And one thing more. Prepare a guest room for me, because I hope to be restored to you in answer to your prayers. Paul wants Philemon to refresh him. And so he gives him two specific requests. Welcome Onesimus the way you would welcome me. And prepare a room, because I am coming. And, of course, when I come, I will see whether or not you have welcomed Onesimus. But, that's just a side threat. It's mostly, Paul's just saying, and welcome me when I come, too, because I'm going to... In other words, he's saying, Philemon, you got a lot of stuff, you got a lot of wealth, you got a lot of resources, let's use some of them. Use some of them to bless some other people. Take your stuff and share it. Share your stuff, okay? If you have a car, drive somewhere. If you have a house, open the door. Let someone come on over, give them a little bit of food or something, hang out with them. I think of Ned Flanders when I think of step one, because he just has loaned Homer his entire house. I mean, if Ned wants a cookie, he has to go over to Homer's house and ask for it back. But sometimes it's okay. It's okay to be Ned Flanders for some people that you know. Okay. Step 2. Step 2, share your life. Share your life. 1 Thessalonians 2:8 says this, "We loved you so much that we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well, because you had become so dear to us." I want to invite you to pursue moments of intersection. Pursue opportunities where your life meets up with someone else's life. I want to show you something that I'm doing, and I stink at this so far, but I'm hoping to get better. I've got these little cards that I have in my car, and actually I'm going to send these around, so maybe I'll just pass them out now. If you could just take like one of these and send them around. You can take 3 or 4 if you want. Some of them are a little sticky because they got a little bit moist in the humidity. But I've got these little cards. And what these cards are is, you can see they're the same little thing we're talking about in church. And we're going to put these available out on our welcome desk out here, this welcome counter thing. And on the back side, all it says is the kinds of things our church does to try to refresh people. Okay? So we provide Sunday worship events and small groups and personal coaching and classes and teams offering people opportunities for service and practical counseling and some caring pastors who understand how to help you. We want to refresh people. So this is what I'm doing, okay? I take these cards and I put them in my back pocket and I go into Walmart. I did this just the other day. I went into Walmart and I had a couple cards in my back pocket and I'm looking to see, is there someone that God might draw my attention to where I could have a little intersection moment of somehow connecting with them. And so I try to find the cashier, the cash register that I've been at before, and the person that I recognize, and maybe find someone that I might remember their name. And this particular day I was with my kids, and by the time I got to the cash register, I forgot I had the cards in my back pocket. And so I just found the cash register with the shortest line. And then I found out that while I was standing in that line, even though there was the shortest line, it was the longest line. You know what I mean? Have you experienced that? So other people all around me were just flying through their thing, and I'm just standing there, absolutely doing nothing. And the whole time I'm standing there, there was this girl in the next cash register over she had just finished checking out all the people in her line, so she was bored. And she spent most of her time leaning against the cash register, kind of looking over at me, because I was wearing this silly shirt that said "Conversation is like kind of dead" and stuff. And so I was wearing this silly shirt, and she just kept looking over at me and trying to read my shirt, I think. And I realized, like 5 minutes later, that I could have talked to her. She was bored.